It's Monday morning, it's 8 o'clock, it's June 16th. This is ARC Rochester. Thanks for being here. I'm Abby Fridman.
And I'm Dan Schrack. We have two full hours to get through. So let's run down what we have brewing for you this Monday.
All right, so the public market is getting ready to fulfill every bargain hunter's dream. This morning, we're getting a closer look at their upcoming flea market mashup event.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, me too.
I think we need to go over there as a group. Or even if you don't want to go, I don't care. I'm showing up.
And that's like my favorite thing.
Okay.
Right there.
So we'll make
Antiquing.
plans. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
And then the Finger Lakes Opera is kicking off the Summer Festival with a special Juneteenth event. We're going to learn more about some of the featured performers and what's to come in the next few months.
And then later, Brews, Bags, and Buddies. The Rock City Rotary and Three Heads Brewery are hosting a cornhole competition. It's all about community spirit. We'll tell you how to sign up while also playing a round or two ourselves. Are you good?
I was just going to say, are you any good?
Honestly, it just depends on the day.
Yeah.
I'm not consistently good, but I have been known to win a cornhole tournament or two.
I feel like I do better the more brewskis I've thrown back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We've got a whole shelf full.
I
so
know.
Let's get going there, buddy.
We should start early. Before all of that, we do want to get a check of some of our top headlines this morning. Stephanie Joseph at the live desk with our Monday morning news break.
Well, good morning there, guys. We do begin with the man suspected of shooting two Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses now in custody after a manhunt that lasted 2 days. Now, the man suspected of shooting two Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses, 57-year-old Vance Bolter, crawled to authorities on Sunday night as they surrounded him in the woods. He's accused of fatally shooting Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, as well as shooting and wounding a Minnesota State Senator and his wife. A motive has not been announced. Bolter is expected to appear in court this afternoon. In Rochester, police are investigating a shooting on the city's north side. An 18-year-old man was found around 11:30 last night at the Norton Village Apartments. He is expected to survive. Investigators say the shooting actually happened about 2 miles away in the area of North Goodman and Bay Streets. Two people from Steuben County have been charged after a baby in their care crawled out of a second-story window and nearly got on the roof of their house. Bath police say 38-year-old Joseph Bennett and 30-year-old Destiny Smith are facing charges of child endangerment. Officers say both were home when the 10-month-old crawled out the window. According to a press release, a witness ran to the house, climbed on the roof, and saved the baby from falling. Two malnourished dogs were also found inside the home. The baby is now in the care of a third party. Rochester police are also searching for suspects in a West Side shooting that sent one man to the hospital. It happened around 2 o'clock Sunday morning near Lyle Avenue and Oak Street. Police say a 31-year-old man was shot and then dropped off at the hospital by a private vehicle. His injuries are described as non-life-threatening. Today will be day 3 of early voting in the New York State primaries. So far in Monroe County, nearly 800 voters have already cast their ballots using brand new voting machines for the first time. The Board of Elections says the new machines are designed to improve efficiency and security. The primary elections are Tuesday, June 24th. Happening today, an important announcement is expected from Rochester Mayor Malik Evans and Monroe County Executive Adam Bello. The joint appearance could mean a significant development for both the city and county, though no other details have been released. That announcement is scheduled for 11:30 this morning, and for all these top stories and any updates, be sure to visit 13wham.com. Back to you.
All right, Steph, thank you. We'll get to the forecast now. We're going to be seeing some mild conditions out there on this Monday, but we're also going to be feeling the humidity kick up.
We certainly are. Things are going to start feeling like summer just days before we actually turn the calendar into that season. Meteorologist Marty Snyder in the Weather Center right now with just how much of a rise we're going to see in those temps. Hey, Marty.
Yeah, I think it's going to be that gradual increase over these next few days. And even today, like you mentioned, the humidity, that's going to be on that slow, just gradual increase. Already the dew point up just a little bit from where it was earlier today. And you can see some of the cloud cover entering. So it is a story where clouds are on the increase. We'll see some cloud cover try to hold at times today. But I think we're going to go back and forth between those categories, between some sunshine and a little bit of cloud cover. So clouds occasionally win out, then some more breaks of sun work in. I think it'll be one of those days like that. But 67 currently. The dew point, that's on an upward downward trend. That was pretty low into the 50s earlier this morning. Now we're up to almost 60. And you'll notice that increase in the humidity play out throughout the day today as temperatures continue to increase. So numbers rising up to about 75 by noon. We'll be in the upper 70s for highs today. Mainly cloudy, just a little passing shower is a possibility during the afternoon. Still, that risk of rain stays very, very low, but it's there. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, a pretty nice day today. 83 tomorrow. Still that very slight chance of a shower, especially later in the day. And notice how temperatures rise a little higher into the 80s heading into Wednesday. And again, that humidity stays quite elevated through that time frame. We begin to pull back a little bit Thursday and Friday, back down to 80, some upper 70s through that time frame. But then we increase again as we head into the weekend. And at this point, weekend not looking too bad, anywhere from 80 to the mid-80s for highs for that time frame. So at least that taste of summer trying to work back in today, and probably even more so over the next couple days in these last few days of spring for us.
Yeah, just beautiful.
Good.
Forward to it.
I'm excited. I'm ready for this humidity. I'm ready for summer. I'm ready for sunshine in abundance, so much so that you makes you sick to your stomach.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Marty.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Thank you. Poetic, right?
All right, let's go off the top. Start with things that have piqued our interest this morning. I'm going to start things off today. When you think about retirement and how you're going to spend it, chances are you have a pretty good idea of what you want it to look like, right? Do you?
I do.
Okay. So maybe it's spending time at the beach or finally picking up a hobby that you've always wanted to pursue. But for Judy and Mike McNamara, they've been rolling across the United States in a cross-country trip that's anything but ordinary. The couple has a mission to visit every single Texas roadhouse in America. So this story began in 2003. The couple stopped by a Texas roadhouse in Tennessee while they were visiting family. That first bite inspired this road trip so many years later and their retirement mission. For anyone unfamiliar, like our resident vegan, Texas Roadhouse was founded in 1993 in Clarksville, Indiana by Kent Taylor, which is funny because it's called Texas Roadhouse, but that's all right. Since then, it has grown to more than 600 locations worldwide, including restaurants in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico. Fast forward to 2017, Judy wrapped up her 45-year career at the International Paper Mill, and the husband and wife duo hit the road. Their trip is centered around two factors here: national landmarks and whether there is a Texas Roadhouse nearby.
Ugh, gross. Look at that.
They're talking about
winter,
the snow?
yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, the cornbread, exactly. And the rolls, right? You gotta focus on that. So right now, the husband and wife have visited 49 states and more than 510 different Roadhouse restaurants. Their next stop, the great city of Rochester, New York, happening this week. They plan to visit the locations on West Henrietta Road and West Ridge Road this week. And while there are more than 2,000 items on the menu at Texas Roadhouse, Judy and Mike listed their favorites. They say the sirloin, the chicken critters, herb chicken, pulled pork, pork chops, and ribs are their favorites, but they always get it with a side salad. They say this really isn't just about the food. Really, it's their love story and the friends that they've made along the way.
2,000 items on the menu?
Yeah. You've never been, right?
Wait a second. 2,000? Are we sure?
Well, I mean, if you take into account like all of the sides, all of the different things.
Really?
I don't know. That's just what I read.
Listen, more power to them. I would like to visit every Chipotle in the country.
Well, there
I
you
could
go.
see myself doing that.
Do it.
Is this something you would do on retirement?
I mean, maybe not. Like, I like Texas Roadhouse fine. I don't know if I would commit necessarily to that restaurant.
A different restaurant, though?
Maybe.
Yeah?
I haven't given it any thought. Honestly, when I think about retirement, I'm usually like isolated somewhere.
Because it's been a long day.
It's been a long life, honestly.
That's fair.
Either the beach by myself or with my husband, or mountains by myself with my husband.
Yeah, okay.
Just by myself, like, just
instead of
just
Texas
alone.
Roadhouse, you could do like you visit every beach in North America kind
Sure,
of thing.
why not?
You know?
Sounds great.
That does sound like fun, doesn't it? Go south during the
Yeah.
winter months.
So my aunt and uncle. Oh, okay, we gotta move on. But I just heard about these people that head north for the summer months, which I thought was kind of funny. They live
Really?
in the south. Yeah,
How do you like that?
I like it a lot.
All right, moving along to my topic now. And today I'm going to be talking about a chair, but it's not just any chair. We're talking about a Swarovski crystal-covered art installation in Italy known as the Van Gogh chair. Because when you're a museum piece made of 15,000 crystals, you don't get the regular name like seat number 4. So now this chair lives inside a design museum in Verona, and you're looking at video here. It's behind ropes, it's on a platform surrounded by warning signs and cameras. In other words, every single sort of air horn is telling you, hey, maybe don't sit on the artwork. But that is what that one tourist decided to do, as if the rules did not apply to him. He waits for the security guard to walk away, struts right up to the display, and plants himself right on the chair like he's waiting for a haircut. And just like that, the thing collapses. One man's Instagram moment is now international news. So here's where it gets worse. He doesn't apologize, doesn't alert staff, doesn't leave a note. Nope, just runs away. Fast forward, and the chair has now been restored thanks to a team of very patient conservators who glued back every one of those crystals. We can't understand what she's saying unless you speak Italian. Glued back every one of those crystals. But let's call this what it is. The museum version of Eat and Return, Friday's rant, because it's the same thing. The same entitlement, the same lack of self-awareness, the same idea that the world is just your TikTok backdrop. Because this wasn't a folding chair at a food court. This was a Swarovski-encrusted tribute to Van Gogh. And instead of awe, we got audacity. We live in an era where content is currency. So here's a tip. If it's glowing under museum lights, maybe, just maybe, don't treat it like it's yours. And if there's ropes, signs, literal barriers in your way, it's not a challenge, it's a clue. So next time you're tempted to touch art, sit on a sculpture, or break a $10,000 masterpiece for the sake of content, do us all a favor and just stay home. This happens time and time and time again. There are so many people who are so destructive. Last summer, there was that viral video of the guy going around who went to Rome, carving his initials into the Colosseum. Because that's what you're supposed to do with a 2,000-year-old structure, to face it.
Yeah.
It's like people have no sense of self-awareness.
Yeah.
It makes me angry.
Clearly, yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Listen, if I wanted to go to the Natural Museum of History and take a dinosaur foot, I would. Like, if that were allowed, I would do it. But I know it's not allowed.
Yeah.
That may be a strange comparison.
I mean,
Don't judge. But because I want to keep one in my home, it's not allowed. So I'm not going to do it. I'm also not going to touch it because it's roped off. And the curators at the museum say, don't touch it. And there's probably signs
probably.
that say, don't touch it.
Yep.
It's not yours.
Not a souvenir.
No.
Okay. All right. Much more to get to this morning on Arc Rochester. When we come back, we're going to check in with Chris Lopez. He's using his green thumb this Monday morning.
All right. And don't forget, you can watch us on the go wherever you are. We are streaming live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel. Hey, Arc Rochester is back after this. Welcome back. 8:16 this Monday. A group in Rochester has built an urban farm with a mission to help those living with food insecurity.
The group is called 490 Farmers, and its working garden is on the corner of Broadway and Meg Street. It's where we find Chris Lopez this morning. He's learning all about the group and all that it grows. Chris, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yes, we've been in the kids' garden. We've been in a almost like kind of mix of like a chaos garden with strawberries and flowers. But right now we're in the herbal tea garden mixed with some vegetables. I'm holding some kale right now. I'm right next to Coy, who is the farm manager. You're at work this morning, bright and early. That was your first question. You said, hey, what can I garden in between these segments? I said, you can garden during the segments. What are you doing right now?
Right now, we are harvesting some tasty kale. They're pretty much ready to go. And after that, we're just going to be harvesting lettuce, some beets, Swiss chard. Just do a lot of harvesting today, harvesting some greens.
And so farm manager here, tell me how much time you spend here, because gardening is really, it's an all-day job. You really got to pay attention to them. They're children. They're growing.
Absolutely. So I would say we're in the peak of the farming season right now. So right now I spend about 15 to 20 hours a week. Okay. And outside of that, it's been about 10 to 14.
And what drew you to 490 Farmers?
I love how they're horizontally led, and they have like a free food for us. So I was really interested in building that. I think our community, Rochester, deserves that, so that people can just see where our food comes from. A lot of people don't know what kale or how lettuce looks like when it's growing, or arugula and different things like that. So that's what really grew me to food for 490 Farmers. It's just that the large span of land, and it's in like the middle of the community, and I would want community members to see how our food is growing.
And tell me about what's going on here. You have the herbal tea garden over here. Absolutely. You were chopping up some kale over here. Absolutely. What's going on in this area? Because there's a lot.
So I'm really planting from a permaculture lens, so that's why everything is all over the place. Okay. So right now we have some greens that were planted before the last frost. Okay. And what we're doing over there is the herbal and medicinal tea garden. Okay. The herbal tea garden are for like consumable herbs that you might have and ingest. Okay. And then the medicinal tea garden are more like things that
That's over here.
Yeah. Okay. And things like calendula, blue vervain, eucalyptus, and things like that aren't necessarily usually ingested, but can be used like topically and stuff like that.
And then I want to make my way back to this over here. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on in this area, because to me it looks like chaos, but to you guys,
Absolutely.
You guys have structured chaos.
We do. We have some kale in there. We have some potatoes. We have some milkweed for our bee pollinators, and we just want everything. I do a lot of companion planting, so we want plants to help each other. So like the plants here are like the milkweed is bees, butterflies that pollinate our greens and different herbs like our potatoes and tomatoes, and different flowers.
What's your goal this year? You were talking about growing X amount of pounds of food.
Last year I worked at the South Lawn Farm, and on just half an acre we grew 1,200 pounds of food. And on this piece of plot of land I'm hoping to grow a good 3,300 to 4,000 pounds of food this summer.
Okay, and how do you guys go about doing that? Just all hands on deck?
Just all hands on deck. We usually have volunteer nights on Wednesdays, and plot members always reach out to me like, hey, are you at the farm? Can I come and hang out? So mostly I owe it to the volunteers on Wednesday nights that are helping me and do most of the heavy lifting.
I love that. I'm going to let you get back to gardening.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk to you in the next segment, but I do want to go over to Grant over here in the free food garden. They do get some help, and it's a little bit of money, quite a bit of money actually, for such a state-funded garden here. You guys on state land, you guys obviously get some money, grants. How can people go about helping you guys?
Well, you can come to the volunteer nights, Wednesdays at 5, and then we also do accept donations. If you were to Google 490 Farmers, you'd be able to find our website or the Instagram, which can take you to that donation portal. And if you want to be involved and still donate, we have quarterly fundraising events. August 1st, we're going to have the garden party right here at the beautiful, spot down at Meg's and Broadway. You can come for that. We'll have some food and entertainment, and that's a good way to donate and be involved. And we'll be doing a harvest party in the fall. We had a telethon earlier this year that actually fell on my birthday, which was really fun. Nice.
And tools, if people want to donate tools, benches, anything to help you guys out. What about seeds? If people want to give seeds, what kind of seeds do you guys only accept?
I think
organic?
Also, yeah, okay. Organic seeds of any kind are fine. There are some that we may or may not plant. Like corn doesn't do particularly well here since the squirrels will come looking for that real quick.
Okay, gotcha.
But we'd be happy to take all sorts of things, and we'll redistribute those to the community too. So like corn, for example, we would say, we have these seeds, we can't use them here. Does anyone in the urban agriculture community want to make use of those?
And you can find out more about how you can donate on foxrochester.com, whether that's a monetary donation or seeds, extra tools that they can use, soil, you name it. You can help them here at 490 Farmers. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio for now.
It's great to see so many of our community members stepping up, getting outside and helping others.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
For sure.
Just because.
Yeah, and we know all of the good that gardening can do for your mental health and physical health and all of that stuff. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris.
All right, when we come back, it is this morning's weather trivia.
Mark McLean will be here with us. Stick around. We're back on the other side of the break.
Welcome back. Mark McLean is joining us now with a look at the mild temps as well as some weather trivia. We're saying mild, but, some people really may end up sweating today.
Yeah, you could sweat it right out, especially if you're doing something strenuous out in the yard, right?
Yeah, or just sitting there getting ready to deliver the weather.
I can feel the air conditioning coming on.
Do you need water?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine. No, I'm good.
You look great.
Thanks.
Nice and dewy.
Stop. Don't say that. You look great.
A little shiny. Let's look at these numbers. So I think what we're saying is we're talking about a warm-up, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Speaking of warm things, on this date, just 3 years ago, we established a new record warm night. How warm was this night in 2022? Was it 62 degrees, 68? Or another way of looking at this is how warm could a low temperature be at night this time of the year?
So how high was the low at night?
Yes, there's obscure weather records, this being one of them. So how warm do you think it could be overnight this time of the year?
Okay. I think I got it.
Got a good
got it?
guess. I
Got it.
think so.
70 or 73, 68, 62. We'll have that answer coming up, of course. So we're talking about summer. How about this? Look at this. The eastern third of the United States. So this is the trend, towards next weekend and early next week. The temperature trend colder out west and very much warmer for the official start of summer in the east. And by the way, Friday, 10:42. Yes. That's the solstice right there.
Woohoo!
That's the shortest night. Yep. 10:42. It's here. Summer air ahead, and this is the first time we've used this on the air. Look at that. Sticky air.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Isn't it the 21st?
It technically, so it varies by 6 hours depending on leap year. And then it goes back 2 hours, so next year it'll be on the 21st again.
Got it,
So
okay.
Because of the leap year, it pushes it back just before midnight in the east.
Got it.
So it's
Okay.
10:42. But it's going to feel humid. The middle of this week, we're going to get dew points likely in the mid-60s, upper 60s, and if we get a couple of thunder showers during the afternoon on any one of these days, that's going to push some of those dew points up closer to 70. So you're really going to start to feel it and start to notice the cloud cover today too. That's streaming in from the west right now. 67 degrees, southeast breeze at 9, and that dew point temperature in that range where you start to feel it. It's close to 60 out there, and that number is going to climb again the next few days. Satellite radar shows the clouds coming in from the west, high pressure keeping the weather fairly quiet, but that front down to the south, that's going to start to meander back to the north, and that's where that warm-up really starts to come in from. So with that front, we'll also find a chance for some showers and thunderstorms. And on the futurecast, you see this is on Tuesday afternoon. Could we get a clap or two of thunder? Sure. It doesn't look like there's anything too wild in any of this activity that you see, but we'll keep our eye on it for you during the afternoon and evening tomorrow. Overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, we'll get a little sunshine there for Wednesday morning, and push those temperatures back in the mid-80s. But seasonable today, upper 70s. We'll find on the 7-day forecast that we'll get those temperatures back in the mid-80s, overnights in the upper 60s to near 70 with that humid air coming in. A little bit of a break towards the end of the week. Heading towards Friday, we'll start to dry out, upper 70s, and a little sunshine next weekend. Temps in the low to mid-80s by next Sunday. Pool weather.
Yes.
Right?
Actually, we were just in the pool yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
the niece
about
and
it.
nephew. Well, niece wasn't in there. Nephew was in there. And, they're so fun when they're
yeah.
little. Like, they just, no fear. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if the water's like 68 degrees.
Yeah.
They just go right in.
Yep.
Well, you can't test the water. You just have to jump.
Yeah. Or fall backwards. Fall backwards into the pool. Then,
Yeah.
takes the fear out of it.
Really?
Yeah, it does for me.
I don't know that I've never heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
Try it.
Yeah.
You're not worried.
Now that you're in the pool.
You're not worried about the water temperature when you're falling backwards.
It's a good way
Yeah.
of looking at it.
Okay.
I know it's weird, right?
I'm worried about hitting your head?
Well, it's
Is
water.
that what you mean?
It's water.
Water is wet.
All right, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I get it. There it is, people.
Yep.
So, did we decide what we're doing?
Oh, for Friday. So it
to
is
mark
officially
the
Friday.
start of summer. Ashley, I think you need to come up with something fun for us.
We should put a new parking lot in.
Oh.
We'll
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
the biggest party ever because Dan's not here.
You're skipping out on Friday?
Womp womp.
Listen.
you-
Places to go, people to see.
Do you remember what happened last time you skipped out on the solstice party?
I do, but
What happened?
Listen.
Do you remember
that better
the picture
not
of his
happen again.
desk?
I don't. What
That
happened?
better not happen again.
Okay.
Listen. I'm telling you right now, if it does, I will file a complaint with Human Resources.
Okay.
Do I get to find out or no?
He drew a line. He drew a line this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I drew a line. Don't even think about it, McLean. Don't even. What he did was unspeakable.
Well, now we have to do it again.
What did you do?
I don't even know what happened, but we got to do it
Is
again.
he out on Thursday too?
No.
we
No,
may
I'm
need-
not on Monday.
We may need 2 days for this.
Gosh. All right. Well, now I need to know.
Oh, man,
all right.
don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more to come right here on Arc Rochester.
We're back after this. 8:33. Good Monday morning. Thank you for staying with us on ARC Rochester. We're going behind the story now as 57-year-old Vance Bolter has been taken into custody after an hours-long manhunt in Minnesota.
Yeah, he's accused of murdering a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband and the attempted murder of a state senator and his wife.
National correspondent Kayla Gaskins has more.
I don't know why he did what he did.
Police say 57-year-old Vance Bolter wore a terrifying Halloween mask to hide his face and a police uniform, posing as a cop as he shot and killed Democratic Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark early Saturday morning.
This was clearly politically motivated. It was, as you described, an assassination.
State Senator John Hoffman and his wife were also at their home, both critically injured but survived. Bolter was appointed multiple times by two Minnesota governors, including Democratic Governor Tim Walz, to the State Workforce Development Board, where he served alongside Senator Hoffman. A 2016 state report lists Bolter's political affiliation as none or other. A 2020 report has him listed as having no party preference. His friend and roommate, David Carlson, though, says Bolter is a Christian who loved God and voted for Donald Trump in 2024. Carlson read the last text Bolter sent him.
Maybe dead shortly. So I just want to let you know I love you guys both, and I wish it hadn't gone this way. I don't want to say anything more and implicate you in any way. I'm sorry for all the trouble this has caused.
On Saturday, police detained but did not arrest Bolter's wife. She allegedly had a weapon, ammunition, cash, and passports with her. A separate search of Bolter's vehicle uncovered a manifesto which included a hit list of people with ties to abortion rights and about 70 names of mostly Democratic politicians, reportedly including Governor Walz, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, and U.S. Senator Tina Smith.
I think we are at a tipping point right now when we see these kinds of personal threats. It gets worse, not better. We see, what happened here and the tragedy that's happened in Minnesota is not an isolated incident.
Just in the past year, there have been several major threats involving politicians, including in April, part of the Pennsylvania governor's residence was set on fire while Governor Josh Shapiro and his family slept. And last year, President Trump faced two assassination attempts, barely avoiding getting shot during the first attempt last July. On Saturday, Trump wrote about the Minnesota shootings. Such horrific violence will not be tolerated in the United States of America. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting.
I mean, truly a horrific, horrific crime. Investigators are saying that manifesto that we heard Kayla talk about with the list of 70 other names on it, they said had they not caught up with this suspect in time, that they fear these killings would have just continued.
Absolutely. And we saw that the wanted posters shared of this individual, Vance Bolter. And one thing that maybe you noticed or maybe you didn't is the different outfits that he wore. Possibly one during the attack wearing a rubber mask on his face and dressing as a police officer. That picture has gone viral a little bit because at first it was hard to identify exactly who he was. He was captured on surveillance video, or allegedly captured on surveillance video, wearing that rubber mask and dressing as a member of law enforcement. And they believe that is how he was able to gain access to the House member Melissa Hortman and her husband, and then just drove 9 miles away to reach the state senator, John Hoffman, and his wife.
Yeah, and what I think is so interesting about this, and it was just a chance encounter that police actually saw him leave the senator's home after that shooting, and there was an exchange of gunfire between he and police. At that time, it's just a devastating attack on lawmakers. And I mean, there have been statements. We heard the statement from President Trump there. We know Governor Kathy Hochul has issued a statement. You heard Governor Tim Walz make some statements, make some remarks there. People are just speaking out. This is not how you resolve anything.
Right. Yeah.
No resolution happens here.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what Governor Kathy Hochul had to say. And I just want to go rewind back to what you said about police encountering him as he was leaving the senator's home. They're saying, law enforcement members are saying that his car had actually been decked out to mimic a police cruiser with lights and other paraphernalia that made it look like it was, in fact, a police vehicle. So that also kind of added to this chaos that was unfolding at that scene out in Minnesota. And again, going back to what you were saying about how violence isn't the answer, we're hearing that from a lot of different political leaders or leaders of the country. It'll be very interesting to see what unfolds with this investigation. Of course, we know that flags will be at half staff in New York State today. That's what the governor has asked for. But all of this unfolded over the weekend. We know that things can be a little quiet in the news cycle during Saturdays and Sundays. Things will likely pick up as we make our way through the day today. I'm sure developments will be on the way, but certainly interesting.
Yeah, I would like to hear more from that neighbor that we heard in that Kayla Gaskin story there.
His roommate? The one in the Papa John's polo? Okay.
Yes. He made some remarks that he couldn't tell him as much as he wanted to and kind of ended the conversation for fear of implicating him in anything. But I don't know. It's just tragic. You think that this could have potentially been prevented in some way, shape, or form, though we don't know how. Again, that's something for law enforcement to determine as this investigation plays out in the coming days.
And one thing I do just want to say, as I like to talk about with any kind of horrific national, international story, there are a lot of conspiracies floating around online. And you cannot believe everything that you're seeing on social media. It is always good to go directly to the source, right? And, people are allowed to have their skepticism or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, we, lost a prominent member of our government. And that is the point here.
Yeah.
The rest of it will come with the investigation. But now is not the time to be, saying unnecessary things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Again, as Abigail mentioned, something we will likely hear more about as we make our way through the day and as police and investigators release more information in the coming days. We will continue to follow this for you, both on air and online at 13wham.com.
Much more to get to this morning on ARC Rochester. When we come back, we are once again checking in with Chris Lopez.
And don't forget, you can take us on the go wherever you are. ARC Rochester is streaming live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel. We're back after this.
Time right now is 8:43. Welcome back. When you think of the city of Rochester, you may think about a lot of buildings, a lot of bustling traffic, and maybe a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, not so much gardens, though. But the group 490 Farmers had that on their mind. They built a community garden designed to help those living on the food insecurity line.
Chris Lopez is live at the corner of Broadway and Meg's, learning more about the group and what they grow. Chris, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? We've been exploring this space for the entire morning. We are in the free food garden right now. I'm staring at some strawberries that are growing. This place has a cherry tree that's also growing, apple trees, different types of herbs that you can put in your tea, different vegetables, flowers, and right now some of the team is kind of hard at work right now, gardening throughout the morning. I'm here with Coy. I want to address this. This is something you just picked within the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. So
Look at this
we're
food,
harvesting
man.
all our greens. I would say this is the first harvest of the season. We have some sage, we have a bunch of kale, and then this beautiful red stuff is like lettuce. And they're high yield crops. So what we're gonna do is weigh it out and give it all to the People's Pantry today.
How long have you been doing this here?
Like farming or growing?
Yeah, farming, yeah.
I grew up in Jamaica and my granddad owned like a pea and coconut farm. So I learned how to do that, and then I used to be a social worker.
Okay.
And I got burnt out during the pandemic and decided this is what I really wanted to do. So
Is that what keeps you going here? Is it's just almost you're hands-on, you're outside, it's something new, you're either growing food, you're planting the food, you're talking to different people, because we addressed this earlier. I was talking to Grant. This is much more than just a garden. You guys are really trying to thrive with the community.
Exactly. So what we do, we ask the community members, hey, what kind of food do you like to eat? And we just want to plant it here. And so farming, planting stuff is like really great.
Invigorating?
Invigorating. There we go. It's really great, and I really do love my coworkers, which are like the earthworms and the potatoes and everything like that. And I go home feeling like I did good work.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's exhausting, I would come back every day to do it.
Cannot beat working with your hands. I'm going to let you get back to work here and head over to Olivia. What are you doing?
So this is the culinary herb garden. So right here we have a lot of things you can use in your kitchen. So this is like parsley. We have some oregano. These can be used medicinally as well. So this is part of the free food forest. But yeah, it also helps pests, like deter pests.
I was going to ask you, you guys do a lot of mixing in here. It's not just all going to be herbs. You guys have sage to like deter the deer and the pests.
Yeah. So this is some sage over here. It smells amazing. You could use it in cooking. You can, use it medicinally as well. And it does do a great job at deterring any sort of pests, any sort of deer. And it's really nice to intercrop things. You can see some tomatoes over here. But this is really where you're going to go if you want to cook something a little bit more savory in the kitchen or make some tea.
I like that. Thank you. I'm going to let you get back to work. Uno Mas, we got one more. Grant, he's over here hard at work. Grant, what are you doing today?
Well, right now we're doing some weeding over here by our annual vegetables. We have the tomato plants, lots of garlic behind us, even Brussels sprouts growing right here, Chris. And we can take a look. These are some of the perennials in the free food forest. We got a berry bush. Behind us, we got the peach tree.
Already have peaches growing, fruiting on this as well. That's nice.
That's right, yeah. The pear tree, too. Same thing. You can already see some of the fruit trying to come up on it. And the berry patch right past Live there is the same deal. We're starting to get the little berries on it, and that is usually overgrown another month or two from now. So we encourage folks to come pick some of those for themselves.
And if someone, free food garden, literally open to anyone. You can pull up here at any time, pick any of the pears, any of the tomatoes that are on the ground. But if someone wants to join you guys, you don't have to have a bed here.
Nope.
You can just come to one of the events that you guys have going, or just can you show up here anytime and help garden?
Yeah, you can show up anytime. Okay. We do ask that folks stay out of the individual plots if you're just here on your own, right? Because folks have their own visions for that. Okay. But if you like weeding and you want to come here and do some of that in the free food forest, we'd encourage it. Yeah, it'd be great.
And then people can find you guys on social media, 490 Farmers.
Right, yeah. On the Instagram, that's the big one. We're on Facebook too. And then I would just recommend coming at 5 o'clock on Wednesday nights for the volunteer night. It's a great way to build community. You don't have to have a plot. You can meet a bunch of folks who like being outside, pulling weeds, digging holes. It's a good time.
490 Farmers. today's story, absolutely pretty cool. I love it when Rochester is helping out other people from Rochester. We're going to have information about 490 on our website on Fox Rochester. Back to you guys in studio.
All right, Mr. Lopez out there for us live with the good people of Rochester helping their neighbors.
Yep, good stuff, Chris. Thank you. When we come back on ARC Rochester, I almost said Good Day Rochester.
I know.
Wow.
I feel the same way.
All right, we are headed to the market in search of some special finds.
We're back right after this. Thanks for sticking with us at 8:51 this Monday. In your community, the Rochester Public Market is teaming up with the Great New York State Flea, presenting 4 special flea market mashups.
The next one is happening this Friday for What's at Sale at a mashup. We're going to check in this morning with the creator of the Great New York State Flea Market, that's Chad Anderson, and media consultant for the Rochester Public Market, Evan Lowenstein. Good morning to you both. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for the invitation.
All right, give us the overview. Tell us what this is all about.
Absolutely. So I'll start off. So essentially everything that you'll find at a normal flea, right? We have our vendors selling a variety of different things between craft goods, garage sale items, handmade items as well, but also we're adding a little bit of flair to that, right? What's that look like? Live entertainment, we're having a beer garden, we have live activations to make you really feel like you're immersed within the flea market, and it's not just a Sunday flea market, right? It's a Sunday fun day at the flea market.
Wow.
I mean, it does sound like fun. You're selling it very
Absolutely,
well.
Right?
Where'd this idea come from?
Well, hopefully you're aware that the City of Rochester Public Market has put on community garage sales on Sundays for 25 years. And they've become iconic, the people love them, but as the years have gone by, we've been dreaming up ways to freshen it up, to add a new twist to these Sunday community garage sales. And when we got connected with Chad and the Great New York State Flea, we realized that was the proverbial match made in heaven. And so we have been collaborating to bring a new twist on the community garage sales to every other Sunday this community garage sale season.
Tell us about that twist, because, I think for the most part, everybody's like, yeah, I like a garage sale.
Absolutely.
But what makes this so much different?
Yeah, so honestly, just to give a little bit of a backstory on where the Sunday Fun Day thing came from, when me and some of the members from my team moved back to Rochester from California a couple years ago, the California market and the Rochester market is very different, right? A Sunday usually spent at the beach, maybe we'd go to another flea market in downtown LA somewhere, skate competitions, whatever that looks like. So when we get back to Rochester and it's like, okay, well Sunday everybody's getting ready for work, right? So we took another step forward on what's that look like to incorporate the flea market, what we were already doing, also bring a little bit of a block party feel. Everybody likes to have a little bit more fun. People already like going to flea markets to shop, but what's it look like to go and have fun?
Wait, so you're telling me you don't go to Ontario Beach Park and surf?
Only on Sundays, right?
Only on Sundays. Only on Sundays. Talk to us about vendors, because we are fortunate enough to live in a very eclectic and musically inclined community. There's a lot of artistic talent here. What can people expect from vendors?
I think you'll find a wide array of vendors and creatives who have lots of different interests, lots of different skills. Maybe some of your more traditional garage sale vendors with things you might find in your attic or basement that you're trying to move. You know, the old saying, one person's trash is another person's treasure.
Absolutely.
Right on up to, and people, there's a high demand for those kinds of things. The buy used movement is very real, and it's encouraging. People are buying used things, repurposing them, upcycling them. But I think you'll also find some very impressive and inspiring examples of the creativity of this community at these events, with artists and creators of all kinds. Could be paintings, it could be sculptures, it could be jewelry,
Clothing brands.
Clothing. It could be practical items like tools and bicycles, but with artistic twists. So I think you'll see a huge volume and a huge variety of items and vendors at the events.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Very cool.
We're running low on time here, but you have 4 of these, yes?
Yes.
All right, so give us a quick overview for somebody watching at home.
Yeah.
When, where do they need tickets?
Absolutely.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So June 22nd is the first one, this Sunday. We have July 20th, another Sunday in July, August 17th, and September 28th. And like I said, all these are going to be Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the City of Rochester Public Market, 280 North Union Street.
And keep in mind that these are every other Sunday. There'll be regular community garage sales on every other Sunday.
Yes.
Fun way to spend the weekend.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, thank you both so much.
Thank
we
you so
really
much for having us.
Appreciate the chance to pitch it.
And we'll post all this information and much more on our website, foxrochester.com, after the show this morning.
Much more to get to this morning on ARC Rochester.
Stick around. We're back on the other side of the break.
Much more to get to this morning on ARC Rochester as we continue into the 9 o'clock hour. Stephanie Joseph will break down some of our top political stories.
She joins us now with a preview of what we can expect at 9. Hey there, Steph.
Hey there, guys. In today's Political Pulse, we're taking a look at the ongoing legal battle between President Trump and California's governor after he deployed thousands of National Guardsmen to L.A. over anti-ICE protests. Trump retaining power of the troops after a late-night pause on a decision that would have put them back under Newsom's control last week. I speak to an expert as an appeals court prepares for a hearing. That's all coming up in our 9 o'clock hour. Ark Rochester returns after this. This Monday morning, June 16th. Thanks for staying with us on Ark Rochester. I'm Abby Ferdman.
And I'm Dan Schrack. That is meteorologist Mark McLean. We'll get a check of his forecast along with the answer to weather trivia coming up in just a couple of minutes. But we do want to check in on some of the morning headlines. Stephanie Joseph now with your Ark Rochester news break.
Here are some of the top stories that we're following this Monday morning. After a manhunt that lasted 2 days, the man suspected of shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses is in custody. 57-year-old Vance Bolter crawled to authorities on Sunday night as they surrounded him in the woods. He's accused of fatally shooting Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, as well as shooting and wounding a Minnesota State Senator and his wife. A motive has not been announced. Bolter is expected to appear in court this afternoon. In Rochester, police are investigating a shooting on the city's north side. An 18-year-old man was found around 11:30 last night at the Norton Village Apartments. He is expected to survive. Investigators say the shooting actually happened about 2 miles away on North Goodman and Bay Streets. 2 people from Steuben County have been charged after a baby in their care crawled out of a second-story window and nearly got on the roof of their house. Bath police say 38-year-old Joseph Bennett and 30-year-old Destiny Smith are facing charges of child endangerment. Officers say both were home when the 10-month-old crawled out the window. We're told a witness ran to the house, climbed on the roof, and saved the baby from falling. 2 malnourished dogs were also found inside the home. The baby is now in the care of a third party. A pair of travel advisories could impact your evening commute. Starting tonight, the 2 right-hand lanes of 490 eastbound will be closed overnight as crews begin repainting the Freddie Sue Bridge. The closures will be in place from 7 p.m. to 6 in the morning and will shift lanes throughout the project. According to the state DOT, work will continue through mid-September as part of a more than $5 million bridge maintenance effort. And in Brighton, the westbound lanes of Monroe Avenue between 590 and Allens Creek Road, along with the 590 northbound off-ramp, will be closed tonight and tomorrow night while crews perform road work. That closure runs between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., and detours will be posted. Looking ahead to a major festival for Rochester, the ESL Fringe Festival has just announced its comedy headliner. Comedian and best-selling author Chelsea Handler will perform Saturday, September 13th during the festival at Kodak Hall at Eastman Theater. Tickets for Chelsea Handler go on sale this Friday at rochesterfringe.com and the Eastman Theater box office. For all these top stories and any updates, be sure to visit 13wham.com. Back to you guys.
All right, Steph, thank you. All right, we're going to look at today's temperatures and the answer to our weather trivia question of the day.
Yeah, who's ready for some summertime?
Yes, very much so.
I mean, literally and figuratively, right?
Yes,
in the
to
forecast. We'll start that up on Friday officially. But hey, the question actually has something to do with warmth. On this day 3 years ago, we established a new record warm minimum temperature. So how warm was this night just 3 years ago? Was it 62? So the way of looking at this is how warm can a night be in the middle of June, basically. Right. I mean, that's basically the gist behind this. 62, 68, 70, or 73? Could it be as cool? Well, I say cool as 62, right? 62 would have been a heat wave 3 months ago.
I'm going with the majority here. I'm saying 73.
73?
Yeah.
Looks like, look at almost everybody on there.
Wow.
We had two answers that weren't D, but yeah, let's check it out. The answer is 73.
Starting the week with a win.
All right, so do you use the air conditioner, though, if you have it? No? It's a definite no?
No, it's 73.
Yeah?
That's like perfect.
Perfect air. Low temperature only reached 73 on this date. Fan? I mean, windows open?
Windows open.
Windows open, 73.
It's not my call.
Oh, it's not your call?
Not my call.
Gotcha.
Really?
No. I mean, yeah. Like, it's not my call.
Gotcha.
I think it should be your call.
I win almost every other.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I'll give him one.
All right.
All right. It's a win. All right. But, so you guys I didn't realize you guys had Sandy the squirrel on this morning?
We did, yes.
Wow. So what was the backstory here? There was a backstory.
Yeah, Sandy comes and visits Micah up to 4 times a day.
Wow.
Comes right up to the window, and
That's
I guess
amazing.
the two sit there and have little squirrely conversations.
Little food or no?
I don't know if there's food involved.
Oh, we'll have to get more on this backstory here.
Yeah.
Sandy the squirrel, right there. Today's quadruped of the day.
Quadruped of the day.
I thought, I mean, I can't really see the screen that well. I was like, is something misspelled? No.
No.
I was good.
I don't know. It made me think of the movie Groundhog Day. You know, it was a groundhog, and then, Phil's got the groundhog's driving the truck, right?
Yeah.
Not that bad for a quadruped, right?
Is a possum a quadruped?
Anything with 4 legs, right?
I don't know.
Critter with 4 legs?
I think so.
Is that right? Yeah.
I saw the juiciest possum this morning. This thing was at the dumpster, and it was like he
had the dumpster in him.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He did. It was like he had just bathed in all the garbage juice and everything. He was
We're not going there for
foul looking.
We're not going there for muddy paws. There will be no
possum.
No.
I should have taken a picture. I'm gonna do it next time and submit it for Muddy Paws.
Maybe on a
forecast.
Friday. Maybe on a Friday. So tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, there's a small chance that we get some showers and some afternoon thunder each one of those days. But don't get the idea that the pup is going to have muddy paws. I think it's just very limited amounts of rain. And hey, check this out. We're almost there. Friday, the official start of summer. So this is over the last week. Okay, so this is looking backwards, not forwards. But 8:53, and by Friday, That sunset time is at 8:54 in the evening. Ooh. Can you believe it? I mean, 15 hours and 23 minutes.
That's incredible.
Of visible day length. Pretty good, right? 67 now, lots of clouds out there. Southwest breeze at 9, and that's going to help warm things up with that dew point in the upper 50s to near 60. You're going to feel that too. And you can see by the cloud motion kind of where the forecast is going today. Those clouds are moving in from the west of Rochester already towards Buffalo. So expect a good amount of cloud cover, but also, some sunny breaks at times through some of this overcast. And this has basically been the forecast over the last week. We've had this stalled frontal boundary to the south. And what's going to happen, it's going to lift back to the north as a warm front over the next few days, and that's going to give us that warm up in the forecast. That's also going to give us that increasing humidity. Now watch Tuesday. There is the small chance out ahead of this system that by the afternoon we get some pop-up showers and possibly a clap of thunder or two in the afternoon and evening. We'll keep you posted on that. Right now we don't see anything that's too raucous in the forecast during that time. By Wednesday, that front makes its way through, and that means that the warm up is on. Now, one place where the rain does help us. This update just came down from Dr. Hartel's office. It knocks that grass pollen down. So if you've been sniffling and sneezing lately, likely it's the grass pollen in that high category that's got you sniffling. But the Gulf forecast today, 70 at 10 a.m., 76 at 1 o'clock, mid-70s at 5 o'clock. We're in pretty good shape today in what I would call is a very seasonable day on the way for western New York. And the extended forecast is humid by Wednesday, some passing thunder showers Thursday, dries out for Friday, and we'll cross our fingers for the weekend. We're pretty confident right now that we'll see some sunshine and temps in the 80s.
One of my favorite smells is fresh cut grass.
Oh, yeah?
Talking about that grass pollen out there.
Yeah.
And didn't we have a question of the day a couple of years ago that the smell of fresh cut grass is actually, there's a scientific term behind it, but it's like the grass is screaming for its life?
It's warning the other.
It's warning the other blades of grass that they're going to get cut.
It's a wound. It's a wound, right?
Yeah.
When you cut it. So, Creeping Charlie is the one that a lot of people when the lawn gets cut, if you have Creeping Charlie in it, that's the one that really you hit your nose and you're like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
Never heard of Creeping Charlie.
It's like it gets a little purpley pink flower on it this time of the year, and it just creeps through the lawn. It's not.
Yeah.
It's invasive. It's terrible if you get it in there, but not fun. Not fun.
Cousins
to deal
with Peeping Tom.
Gross.
Get it and creepy.
Got it. Just didn't like it. All right, a lot more to come this morning on ARC Rochester when we come back. A closer look at the special kickoff event for an upcoming summer festival.
And don't forget, you can watch us on the go wherever you are. ARC Rochester is streaming live on the 13 WHAM YouTube channel on foxrochester.com. Stick around. We're back after this. 7:13 this morning, the Finger Lakes Opera is warming up for an upcoming summer festival, and they're kicking things off with a special Juneteenth event.
Here with more on this week's kickoff and everything that they have in store for the summer months, we're joined by the Summer Festival's publicist, Jamila Evans-Rogers, and performer Holden Turner. Good morning to you both. Thank you for being here. Let's get a quick overview of what people can expect at this event.
Well, we're really excited. This is the second annual Juneteenth program, and it's really special this year. This is actually a partnership between Finger Lakes Opera and Mount Olivet Baptist Church. It's special for a couple reasons. It is the kickoff to the entire summer festival for Finger Lakes Opera, and for Mount Olivet Baptist Church, we're actually celebrating our 115th anniversary as Rochester's oldest historically African-American Baptist church. So that, coupled with the fact that this is actually the 160th anniversary nationally of Juneteenth as a celebration of liberation and freedom, makes it really, really exciting.
It sounds like it's going to be special. And Holden, I want to talk about the performances in just a second, but I want to follow up. What was it about the event last year that, you guys said, oh, we've got to do it a second time? Was it just the turnout, the abundance of people, wanting this?
It was the turnout, and it was the reaction. I really have to give kudos to Finger Lakes Opera Executive Director Elizabeth Long and Senior Pastor of Mount Olivet Baptist Church, Dr. Ricky Harvey. They really kind of allowed us to run with this, and then it was the reaction of the community, really being able to bring this art form into the community. And they really valued, as do both of us, community engagement, and as particularly a house of worship, creating these opportunities to fellowship and invite our neighbors in, and for especially a culturally enriching event like this was really special.
And I want to also say that, a lot of times our community doesn't really get a lot of opportunities to see opera like this. So when we have places that don't get to see these kinds of music, get to have opportunities to see this very close up, it's really exciting for them in ways that people don't necessarily think about. So when we do events like these, we have a lot of turnout for these things, and a lot of people saying wow, this is so cool. I didn't know that I could feel like this with this kind of music, or I didn't know that this worked like this. And they are so engaged, and then they start coming back and listening to more of our music and stuff.
So you are a performer at this event. Tell everybody what it is that you're going to be doing.
So you'll end up hearing a lot of different music from Black composers. So there will be some art songs or songs that are composed directly by those composers. And then there's going to be lots of spirituals in the spirit of Juneteenth. So you'll hear lots of different arrangements of good songs that some people may already know, like Oh Freedom, and sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, and so on and so forth. And you'll also be hearing from not only myself, but you'll be hearing from Jasmine Saunders, Joshua Conyers, Jonathan Pierce Rhodes, Dr. Crystal Sellers Battle, and then also you'll be hearing from the Mount Olivet Baptist Choir, right?
Yeah, we have a gospel choir, we have a flag ministry, and we also have a wonderful tribute to the late, great, iconic opera icon, Jesse Norman, who actually has a local tie very near and dear to Rochester, but I'm not going to spoil that. They have to come to the event to find out what that is.
But isn't that the way? I feel like no matter where you go around the world, there's somebody out there. Everybody's got one connection to somewhere in Western New York.
Absolutely.
It's really incredible.
Absolutely.
I want to know, is there a particular piece that you are very excited about to perform?
Yeah, so this is a song that's very difficult for me, but one of the songs that I'm really excited about is Oh Freedom, where basically I start off the song a cappella. It's very intimate at first, but then this also is a very modern arrangement of the song, where the piano kind of is doing some crazy, crazy things, but I start picking up the pace. I get louder and higher in my range, and the piano is adding all these different things in where it just gets people to really get energized as well. So by the end of the piece, you have just been smacked in the face with all this heavy imagery and uplifting hope. And by the end of that, like, I'm probably in tears. The audience is probably in tears. Everyone's in tears, except the pianist, because they're over there working their butt off, right? But that's one of my favorite pieces because it always has such a really good reaction to people, and it seems like a very important thing for people, even though it may not necessarily ring directly true. It still speaks to people in ways that we need right now.
It's all that matters.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you both so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. Break a leg. Best of luck with the event. And, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say they can get more information. I forgot something very important. It is a free event that is open to the community.
People like free.
They can absolutely, I have to say that. And they can register. We suggest that, but it's not required. They can just show up, and they can get more information at fingerlakesopera.org.
Excellent. Thank you both. We appreciate it. All that information will go on foxrochester.com.
9:19, don't go anywhere. When Arc Rochester returns, Stephanie Joseph will break down some of our top political headlines.
Your political pulse is coming up next.
It's time for a political pulse check here on Arc Rochester. An appeals court hearing over President Trump's deployment of the National Guard to Los Angeles is scheduled for tomorrow. It comes after a lawsuit by California Governor Gavin Newsom, who believes Trump overstepped his authority by calling in the Guard over anti-ICE protests. A federal judge initially ordering Trump to return power over the troops back to Newsom, but an appeals court put that on pause last week. President Trump says LA would, quote, be burning to the ground if he didn't send in the military. The state's governor, though, says Trump is making a tense situation worse. For more on this case, I'm joined by Ian Reifowitz, a professor of history at SUNY Empire State University. Good morning to you.
Morning.
So the first thing I want to start with, because there is a lot to get into here, is some of the legalese, if you will, of this case, but specifically Title 10. I'm going to play a soundbite from the state attorney general in California, and then we'll start.
The authority upon which President Trump relies and Pete Hegseth relies for calling in the National Guard does not allow them to call in the National Guard. They are trying to exercise authority they do not have. In order for them to call in the National Guard, there needs to be a rebellion. There's not. There needs to be an invasion. There's not. There needs to be an assessment that the regular forces can't execute the laws. That has not been determined either.
So my first question for you is, hearing some of the justifications listed there by the AG, what do you make of President Trump using Title 10 to federalize the troops?
Well, what's interesting is we also need to hear what the president's response was and what his lawyer's response was. At the court, his representative said, our position is this is not subject to judicial review. And the president himself said, quote, the bar is what I think it is. So essentially, the president claims unfettered, unlimited authority under Title IX to deploy troops, federal troops, or to federalize National Guard whenever and wherever he thinks and he decides it is necessary. That, I think, certainly sounds problematic. The judge in the case who issued the stay, which was, blocked him from using the troops, which was then stayed by the upper court, the judge said, the president is, of course, limited in that authority. That's the difference between a constitutional government and King George. So that's really what the debate is. The president says, look, it doesn't matter what specific things you come up with. Oh, maybe it's a rebellion, maybe it's not a rebellion. There are no standards. If the president says it's a rebellion, it's a rebellion. And like what Richard Nixon said after Watergate in a TV interview, said if the president does it, it is not illegal. That kind of unfettered authority really does seem to go, well beyond what the founders imagined in terms of the Constitution. I think that's pretty clear.
And you just mentioned it there, one thing being the 10th Amendment, for example, where anything that is not specifically to the executive is thereby in the power and control of the states. And California is kind of using that argument in terms of this case. So how do you sort of see things shaping out specifically with California making that argument?
Right. Well, it's a good question. And it's one that it's hard to predict the answer, right? But I think technically, if you look at the situation and you look at the law, California's right. There wasn't a rebellion, there wasn't an insurrection, and the federal government was not in a position where it couldn't enforce the laws. The president has another higher authority that he can invoke, and that's the Insurrection Act. And that allows him to use federal troops in a more expansive way and even help local law enforcement with law enforcement duties. He wanted to invoke that in 2020 after the George Floyd protests, which included some limited, but some violence certainly, more so even than I think what we saw in LA last week. His Secretary of Defense at the time, Mark Esper, basically told him you can't do that, and he backed down. The Insurrection Act is not something he has invoked yet at this time. There is historical precedent here for a president to deploy the National Guard without the governor of a state's approval. The last time that happened without the governor's approval was during the Civil Rights era. A number of times it happened, and most recently it was 1965. President Lyndon Johnson, over the objections or without the request of the governor of Alabama, federalized the National Guard to protect civil rights marchers who were marching from Selma to Montgomery. That's very different from what's going on here. There, the governor was acting in bad faith. He was acting to suppress the equal rights of American citizens, African Americans, and he was acting essentially using the law as a white supremacy to support white supremacy. Lyndon Johnson said, "I'm not going to allow that," and he overrode that decision. I don't think there's any indication that the governor of California right now is acting against the civil rights of a large group of Americans or is acting in an unconstitutional way. The president is simply claiming the authority to do what he wants without any kind of larger moral justification. So that historical precedent is very, very different.
And really quickly, I'm wondering, having already mentioned the 10th Amendment, a lot of people are having conversations about the First Amendment and the ability for people to exercise their right to protest. Do you think that this is something that may come into play as the legal process plays out?
Well, absolutely. That's very different from the decision about nationalizing, federalizing National Guard. But yes, the president has talked about, well, if there is a protest, they could be met with big force. And he doesn't differentiate between peaceful protest and violence. There is a clear line in the Constitution, in the First Amendment. Peaceful protest, peaceful assembly is a fundamental right protected by the Constitution. Now, he hasn't yet sought to use federal troops to enforce the law, to make arrests. That's still something that's in the hands of local law enforcement. So if local law enforcement were to arrest people for protesting peacefully, then that would be something that's on the LAPD or even at some level, maybe the governor of California. So it's not coming into play yet, and it is a separate issue, but it certainly could come into play And it all depends on who's doing the arresting, that in terms of who gets held accountable.
That is for sure. Professor, I want to say thank you so much for joining me this morning, providing some insight as we continue to follow this story.
Thank you.
And be sure to stay with ARC Rochester for your top political headlines. We're back after this.
Thanks so much for sticking with us here on ARC Rochester. It's time to take a look at some of the favorite stories of the day, the stories that people at home are talking about. We are talking about trends.
Yeah, we're going to start with adults embracing their inner baby, all to improve their health. Didn't really like that, but okay.
As adults in the digital age, some are constantly staring down at their devices, hunching over a laptop.
Yeah, in a new health trend, adults are trying to combat their poor posture and strained muscles by practicing, quote unquote, tummy time.
Instead of scrolling when sitting in a chair or on a couch, people are opting to lay on their stomachs while spending time on their phone.
It might seem childish, but experts have weighed in saying this should, Mark is actually on
Mark is on the floor on his stomach right now.
Mark, how do you feel?
Like I'm never going to be able to get up again.
Like he's never going to be able to get up again, he says.
Yikes.
He does look like a 12-year-old kid like this.
Yeah,
right?
like kick your feet or something there. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Clean your room, Mark. So someone weighed in on this. Who weighed in on this?
Experts?
Experts have weighed in on this, saying this should be a part of your daily screen time routine.
Doctors say tech neck is a growing problem among millennials and Gen Z, but doctors say the average adult spends between 3 to 8 hours leaning downward to gaze at screens.
By practicing tummy time, it can strengthen the neck, shoulder, and arm muscles no matter your age.
One yoga instructor praised the trend, saying 10 minutes a day will passively stretch your core and your hips, increase spine mobility, aid in digestion, and reverse the effects of sitting for long periods of time.
I saw a device advertised this past weekend. It's so funny that this is the story, but maybe because it's in the zeitgeist, this is why this was invented. It was this device that you strap onto your neck and like your shoulders, and it pulls your shoulders back and forces your head to come up like this. I'm not kidding you.
Okay.
And I'm willing to bet. No, did I try it? No, it doesn't arrive until Tuesday. I'm kidding. I didn't buy it. What are your thoughts on adult tummy time?
You know, here's the thing.
Hit me.
Other generations, older generations, make fun of this generation that I'm part of. And you know, a lot of the time I kind of roll my eyes and I'm like, God, everybody's so sensitive, like blah, blah, blah. We deserve to be made fun of for
This is tease-worthy.
This is like just...
It's embarrassing.
It is. Like, come up with a better name for it.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk. This is like,
How about
I would never admit this to anybody. If I actually spent time doing that.
No. How about we just tell people to stretch or put your devices down?
Put the phone down. Go do something productive.
Yeah, touch grass.
Go work out.
That's what the young kids say, right?
I think so.
Touch grass.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Heinz is officially rebranding and it wants a seat at the breakfast table.
All right, so this is part of the age-old breakfast debacle, to add ketchup on eggs or to not add ketchup on eggs.
Oh, is it a debacle or a debate? Really?
Well, yeah, people talk about it.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know it was controversial.
Yes.
Heinz decided to take their stance with a brand new rebranding. So for the first time in 150 years, Heinz announced breakfast ketchup.
All right, the company says they are strategically disrupting Americans' morning routines by rebranding their condiment.
This rebranding aims to show consumers why ketchup can be part of a breakfast too, emphasizing that, quote, ketchup at breakfast should be the norm, not the exception.
The breakfast ketchup is the same exact formula as the original Heinz ketchup, it's just reframed.
The new labels will be placed on either the classic Heinz ketchup bottles, which will be available in 100 Waffle House locations across the country.
They will also be available on limited edition maple syrup glass bottles, available in nearly 50 local diners across Florida, Dallas, New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles.
Okay, so what's the answer?
I don't intentionally put it on.
No?
No. If it's like if I have like a hash brown or something,
okay,
and it's nearby, like I'm not gonna not eat it because it's on there.
Yeah.
But I don't set out to put ketchup on my eggs.
Fair enough.
However, there is a breakfast sandwich that I used to get in Buffalo all the time, and it already came on it. They like put the ketchup on.
Yep.
And it was
what
phenomenal.
else though was on the breakfast sandwich?
It was a hard roll. Egg, bacon, cheese, and it had a hash brown on.
Okay, well see, then you have to have the ketchup.
But they put it on, so it's not like I went out looking for it. But it was a happy accident.
Yeah.
I was never mad about it.
Yeah.
It was great.
And ketchup and carbs, I mean, they go hand in hand, right? I know.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Now to a story that's getting a lot of heat online.
A mother-to-be, that is going viral for the name of her baby that is on the way.
A friend of the parent in question received a baby shower invitation, but after closer inspection, noticed that the name was listed as Chernobyl Hope. What? The friend immediately went to social media, calling it ridiculous and offensive, and wanted to know what others thought.
People were outraged, expressing the insensitivity of the parents-to-be. Others sharing their own story of people they knew naming their children unconventional things that are offensive or ridiculous, like naming a child Jesus Christ and Santa Claus.
Who does this? There is no word if the parent decided to change the soon-to-be baby's name or how they responded to that post. But, would you name your kid Satan? I honestly, if we're just picking names here, isn't there a list of band names?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Satan is one you can't name your child.
Here's my thing, right? So if it's my friend, I get the baby shower invitation. I see that the name is Chernobyl Hope. I probably would reach out before getting angry and just saying like, hey, do you know what Chernobyl is?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, are you familiar? Because it could just be somebody who's like, wow, that's a beautiful sounding word. That's going to be the baby's name.
Sure. You could also reach out and say, hey, is there a typo in this?
Sure.
Were you intending on
Maybe the name is Cher, middle name Noble, second middle name Hope, last name Smith.
And we forgot the hyphen.
Could be. Cher, Noble, Hope Smith.
Okay, so
look, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I really am, because I can't imagine that anybody would sit there and say this is a great idea.
Do you get the baby clothes monogrammed?
No, you don't. You don't get them monogrammed. Hey, a lot more to come this morning on Arc Rochester. When we come back, we are sipping the brews and hitting the boards.
We'll tell you more after the break.
And don't forget, take us on the go wherever you are. We're streaming live on the 13WAM YouTube channel and foxrochester.com. Grab your bean bags and practice your toss, because this Saturday, the Rock City Rotary Club is teaming up with Three Heads Brewing for their Bags and Brews Cornhole Tournament.
It sounds like a lot of fun. For more on the upcoming fundraiser and how you at home can get involved, we are joined now by Simon Devenish from the Rock City Rotary and Jeff Dale from Three Heads Brewing. Thank you both so much for waking up and coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. All right, we've got to start with these brewskis here, because not only are we kind of excited to try them, but we were talking during the break when you first came in about the artwork on these cans.
Yeah.
It's spectacular.
Yeah, we have a great artist, Al Furlet. He's a high school art teacher in Greece, and we met up with him early on. I'm in a band with his brother-in-law, and he just would do posters for us, and we love his style. So all we'll ever do is give him a name of a beer, and then he goes, here's the label. And it's just incredible. He's one of the more famous artists in Rochester that no one knows who he is.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And nice that you just have him right on speed dial. Like
Well, he
that,
gets
too.
free beer.
Yeah, oh, there you go. All right, very
And
good.
some cash, but.
You brought along some special ones today. I want to talk about this one if we
Yes.
can real quick, because that is, well,
Yeah, this is the Jazzy Summer Ale, and it is a beer, it's official beer of Rochester Jazz Fest. And so we did it last year, and we did it. It's trying to capture some of the art and vibe that they have in a lot of their posters over the years, and so it's just a nice option. So when you're going down there for Jazz Fest, drink some beers and drink this.
Oh, if I have to. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I know.
And that's the official beer of the Rochester Jazz Festival.
Yes.
What is it like to know that, your beer is the official beer of the Rochester Jazz Fest? That's a very cool honor.
It lets me feel like Santa Claus, knowing that I'm bringing joy to a lot of people.
I mean, it's true. You are. You're bringing a lot of joy and maybe a little bit of ruckus, but that's okay.
And it's okay,
Comes
but it's
with
also
the territory.
And it's nice because you get a lot of people visiting Rochester, and it's nice to feel like we're being a part of showing them why Rochester is such a cool city.
Absolutely.
So, and if we can do it one sip at a time, sign me up.
There you go. And Simon, tell us a little bit about the role that Rock City Rotary plays in all of this.
So our club specifically is a club for young professionals, and we do a lot of work in the city of Rochester helping particularly those in need in the city of Rochester. So we are running this cornhole tournament. It's the third year running the cornhole tournament. When I took over as fundraising coordinator, I'm like, well, we already meet at Three Heads once a month, I should say. So why not partner up with Three Heads and have it at Three Heads? So this fundraiser is really our big fundraiser, and it helps us to raise money for all the projects that we do in the Rochester community for those in need.
For someone who is unfamiliar with Rock City Rotary, talk to us, if you will, about those projects. Talk to us about the great work you guys do.
So we are a club. We're a bit different in Rochester. We're a club for young professionals, and so part of that comes with social, the social aspect of being Rotary Club members, and so we meet at a brewery to have that social aspect as well. But so one of the main projects we're going to be doing, using the funds from this tournament fundraiser, is to do a project with Open Door Mission, which is a passion of many Rochesterians. Mm-hmm. What we're going to do is we're going to purchase and put together some winter kits for them, some care packages. And those care packages have some, tuna sandwich kits in them, combs, Band-Aids, hand warmers, gloves, a lot of different items that the unhomed need during winter to get through those the cold winter weather.
Real essentials.
Absolute essentials, yeah. So we make all the packages, and we'd say, here you go, Open Door Mission, these are for you to give to the clients that you work with.
That is excellent work. Yeah, phenomenal. We're running low on time for this segment, but for somebody who's interested in coming to this, do they register? Do they just show up? How does it all work?
So you can register before the event. The details are on the flyer that I believe is on the screen now. But you can turn up on the day as well. We're kicking off at 1 p.m. And just starting the tournament. So if you want to turn up on the day, come down and play. If you want to just come and buy a raffle ticket and help us in that way, come and do that as well. But either way, bags, brews, bit of both, come on down.
Do you have to be a part of a team, or because listen, there are people out there who are so good at cornhole, they know other people are just dead weight.
So no, you don't have to. We actually already have 3 people that have registered as an individual, and we're just going to partner them up on the day so they have a new friend.
There you go.
Sounds good.
You guys have thought of everything.
Well, I'm just thinking you should come buy a raffle ticket, drink beers, and heckle the people.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's fair.
Right.
You could be that. Be the Muppet guys.
Exactly.
Thank you both so much for coming in. Don't go too far, you either, because when we come back, we are going to be sipping some brews and playing some cornhole right here in studio.
Yikes. All right, we're back after this.
we are still looking ahead to this weekend's Bags, Brews, and Cornhole tournament. And we thought it would be fun to have a little friendly competition right here in studio.
This is news to me this morning. Real quick.
You didn't know this was happening?
I mean, I did, but I didn't know it would be like to this extent.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's always kind of a surprise. Before we get playing here, for somebody who wasn't here 3 minutes ago, give us a quick overview of this event.
So we're encouraging people to come on down this Saturday to Three Heads Brewing, starting a cornhole tournament to raise money for Rock City Rotary and raise money for Open Door Mission. It's bags and brews because there's going to be some cornhole bags, there's going to be some brews, there's going to be raffles, lots of opportunities to raise money for Rock City Rotary and all the good work the club does in the city of Rochester.
Very good.
Terrific.
Excellent. And you were kind enough to pour us some beverages, some adult beverages.
Thank
you. Yes.
What are we drinking here?
Well, you guys have the Jazzy Summer Ale, the beer we talked about.
Okay.
And we have the Kind Water, which is 0% alcohol, 0 calories. We took water and hopped it like the Kind IPA.
Wow.
So it is a good beer if you're a good option if you don't want to drink any alcohol.
Okay.
Right on. All
Let's
right,
try it.
Cheers.
That's actually quite good.
It's refreshing.
It is.
Yes.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is really, really good. And this is the official beer of the Jazz Festival,
Yes,
which
it is.
starts in like 5 days.
And by the way, to everyone, when the segments get a little weird and these cans start to disappear, it's not my fault.
No, no, not at all.
It won't
Not
be
at
the
all.
first time they've seen that. Yeah.
All right, Abigail, you're up first.
Here, I can hold.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, then. All
That
right.
is professional.
Yeah.
Great. Whoa. Hey.
Thank
I am nothing if not professional. Why do I have to go first?
You're going to show us how it's done?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't know here. Let's see. Ooh.
Oh,
a little heavy.
almost.
Do we take turns or do I just go?
You just go.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
No
Okay,
pressure.
now for someone sitting at home who's unfamiliar with cornhole, what if we knock that bag?
Whoa.
What if we knock Abby's bag in? Does she get the point?
Yes, you'll get the points.
Yep.
She would get the points.
Yeah.
I'm not great with keeping score, so I'm just going to trust
Well,
whatever
and
it is
listen,
that
the
they
more
say.
beers you have, the less the score matters.
Unfortunately, I think I'm probably.
Oh!
Nice.
Okay, wait, let's
Nice.
see. I have
Good.
a lot of
All
pressure
right.
here. Hold on. Just get the board.
Just get to board.
Nice.
Not bad, not bad. All right, we're going to keep this going. We're going to keep this going.
I'll let you go.
Thanks.
Look at this. You guys are such good catchers, too.
Well, I know we have a ringer here. I saw how you threw your first couple rounds.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it again.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
All right, great. Is there a limit for how many people are going to this thing?
No, as many people as want to turn up. We've got a wonderful bit of software that's going to help us work it all out, so I don't have to do it myself.
Right on.
There's cornhole software?
Oh, there's it's actually cornhole software, but there's all sorts of games you can use with the same software. So if you're running a bunch of different tournaments, maybe badminton, for example, use the same software, you plug it in, and it just says, hey, this person plays this person. Oh, that person lost. Okay, well, they're out, and this person moves to the next bracket. It's great. Saves a lot of time.
Got some power.
That's how I can get people in on the day.
Here we go. I'm going.
Did I hit you? Sorry.
All right.
It's fine.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh.
Nice. All right, let's see here.
All right, come on,
that.
Abigail.
Look at that. We blocked them.
Oh, no.
My goodness.
Wow.
Okay, listen, we got to
pressure.
sink a couple of these, right? Ooh, way overshot that one.
Oh.
What was that?
I don't know.
That was yours. That
Was it
yours.
mine? I don't
was
think
it
that was
yours?
mine. Ashley?
Can we play it back?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have instant replay.
that's no good.
We're still working on that feature.
All right. Next time.
Yeah,
Yes.
we hope to have
Slow
that
motion.
up
We
and
can get
running
slow motion of our faces.
spring 2032.
Okay. I'll come back.
Last one. For somebody sitting at home, they want to register. How do they do that?
Head to our website, rockcityrotary.org. You'll find the information there of where to go to register. Otherwise, turn up.
That was good.
Otherwise, turn up on the day. It's because I was talking. That's
and
why.
if somebody is out there and they just want to buy some of the beer, Three Heads.
You come to Three Heads, go to Wegmans or wherever you get beer.
wherever you get beer, people.
Great.
It's as easy as that. Thank you both so much.
Thank you guys.
so much. This is awesome.
Appreciate it.
We'll post all of this information and much more on our website, foxrochester.com, after the show this morning.
When we come back, our final thoughts this Monday.
We are back. Final thoughts this Monday morning. Solid start to the week, I think.
Yeah, this is water.
You guys did well.
It's
This is
water.
nice.
It's hoppy water.
It's nice.
This is also water.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it was
it's
at
covered
one
with
point.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
What do you think of the flavor profile on that one?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, you don't want something too heavy. It's it's the middle of June.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's gonna
also
be
not
warm.
even 10 a.m.
Yeah, it's also the middle of the morning.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Absolutely. I like it.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm on board with this
I
one.
was thinking, it was gonna be like just like water, straight water
Yeah.
tasting, but
Yeah.
it has like a citrusy.
Yeah.
Do they
Yeah.
sell that out of, or is it
Yeah.
just something
Yeah,
they get at the
yeah.
brewery?
Yeah.
No, I
Fine
think
hop
that's
water?
something you can get
Wow.
in Wegmans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
I've never,
cool.
Never seen that before.
Me neither.
I like it.
Crazy.
What else do we have going? What else did we have today?
Steph did a great interview.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice job with that, Steph.
Love having those voices.
Yep. What else?
Oh, we had the opera.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
We had a
opera.
lot.
The flea. The super flea.
Can't wait for
It's not
that.
the super flea. I'm sorry.
Can't
the flea
wait for
market
that,
in
though.
Rochester Public Market.
Hey, that does it for us here on Arc Rochester. Make sure to wake up with us again tomorrow morning starting at 4:57. We're on
13 Wham ABC. Steph and Mark will be there later today for 13 Wham News at midday. See you then.
Bye.